The date of this video is all January 24th, 2025, and we're at what we call the Erie nest. There's a young juvenile, true juvenile over on the right, and a full adult, but a non-territorial adult that just flew into the Erie nest. The Erie territorial pair are out somewhere right now, and they don't probably know what's going on. That non-territorial adult just took off to the south, and this juvenile, true juvenile, took off following, probably wanted to see what kind of food he could come up with. And here is the non-territorial adult, or a floater, that just came in with a mammal, I think a rabbit or a prairie dog. And the same juvenile flies into what would be the west side of the Erie nest tree. The floater, or non-territorial adults, feeding on that prey, and decides to take use of the nest to continue to feed in, as the juvenile over on the right is checking him out. The non-territorial adult, or the floater, is looking over the juvenile, not happy about it eyeing its food, and chases it away. And here comes that floater or non-territorial adult again back into the nest, maybe to have a few more scraps from the mammal that it brought in. Just doing a little bit of feeding. And here comes that juvenile again, lands just above the non-territorial adult that's feeding in the nest. Interesting, the disposition of these two. What's interesting here was right there, the juvenile comes in and decides it's going to take and finish the prey that that adult was feeding on. An interesting interaction there. A little bit surprising that the juvenile would take away prey, or the remaining prey, from the adult, or maybe the adult was full. The bird that just flew in is the territorial Erie nest female, and here comes the male. Call this the shared male. This is a polygamous pair. The male is coming in again, and it's going to land right next to the female. And they're like, what's going on down in our nest? There's the true juvenile to the right, and the adult over to the left. The male, the territorial male, chases out the non-territorial adult, and we got as the female, Erie female at the top, the juvenile in the nest, and the Erie female's mate comes in, flies next to her again. The juvenile's down in the nest, feeding some more. Another interesting interaction here is that the two adults, you saw the male, the territorial male, chase out the non-territorial adult, leaving the juvenile to stay in the nest, as they're doing now. It's been there for a while. The two Erie adults are not real happy about it being down there at this point. They've been really patient. And the Erie female flies down just above the juvenile in the nest. This is a juvenile, we don't, could be from anywhere, probably in the Front Range, but it was born in the last year. Juvenile flies out on its own accord, but the male chases after it, and the Erie female remains up in the nest. Erie female flies out. And this bird is another non-territorial adult that flew into the nest, and that's the territorial Erie female, the adult that landed up at the top of the nest tree. And here comes her mate, the male. Oh, I'm sorry. That's a non-territorial adult. And that's the Erie male in the nest there. And this is the non-territorial adult that's being pretty aggressive. Flies in above the Erie female, the male down the nest. This is probably a male. The female is, you can see how much bigger she is than that obvious male. Her mate, the male, is down in the nest. And that floater was probably interested in taking on this nest and displacing the male at the Erie nest. Flies off. That's the Erie, the territorial male off to the west and the female following. This is over a course of almost a full day. This is the Erie female and her mate, the male, coming into the nest. We're at about 12:48, just beyond noon. The adults are in the nest, and here's the same non-territorial adult, probably male, that we saw before, who's buzzing around them. It's a pretty bold move there, landing up on top of the nest. The two adults are in the nest, the male over the right, or to the left, his mate, the Erie female, on the right, and the floater or non-territorial adult is up on top. That bird, the non-territorial bird, left, and the male is copulating with the female. That happens fairly commonly when there's an aggressive interactions going on. I think it's kind of a territorial show. Here comes the Erie male and female, and this is the floater. Again, the non-territorial male getting pretty aggressive there, specifically targeting the male in the nest. He comes around again. The female, Erie female, is up on top, vocalizing. There goes the Erie male flying out, probably going out to chase that non-territorial adult. This is the non-territorial adult coming into the nest again, another bold move. The Erie male coming in, not very happy about what's going on, landing next to his mate, the Erie female. This floater, non-territorial adult, down in the nest. Here goes the male again. His big move, he likes to go out, circle around, and then chase out the aggressor, although this time the female followed him. The non-territorial adult also flies out. Once again, here comes the Erie adults up towards the top of the nest tree. This is not a real clear video, but it shows some really interesting and really super aggressive interactions by the same non-territorial male. Here he comes in. That's a pretty strong interaction there. Females turning around. Here he comes in again, buzzing them. Coming around again. Boom. That's the female up at the top. The male's hunkering down in the nest. Here he comes again. Yeah, so these are some really strong, aggressive interactions here. Here he comes again. Pretty intense. And now, a couple hours have passed. The Erie male and female are in the nest, and once again at 6 o'clock, 6:44 p.m., that non-territorial male is over there still bugging them, coming over, challenging them, flying up above them. Pretty bold. Here goes the male, flying out again. This is his big move, and I think wound up chasing out the non-territorial adult. And here's the male coming in back to the Erie female, and that is the end of a very, very busy day.